Perhaps one of the most significant culture war stories, the end of The Late Show. Paramount basically turned this thing into a hyper-partisan rag where every single night, no matter what, the show hated Trump and hated you for liking Trump. And they were spending $40 million per year, those are losses, in order to do it. So I kind of wonder, where was that money coming from and why were they willing to sink it into this political message? Well, perhaps it's obvious. It was the political message. Well, in what may be a very strange circumstance, there are people physically protesting in New York City the cancellation of The Late Show. As if Colbert is some kind of politician. It's very strange, but also kind of hilarious. I'll tell you this. I think it was a propagandistic effort. I think anybody that wanted to make money would have just told Colbert, stop being hyper-partisan, you're killing your market share. But I think they were willing to sink $40 million a year for political purposes and destroy the brand, and Colbert did, and they're ending a 3-decade run. Now, there is a bunch of other news, don't get me wrong. You've got the Obama potential indictments, the investigation. Tulsi Gabbard last week saying he committed a treasonous conspiracy against this country. This is crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy. Donald Trump posting AI videos of Obama being arrested. Oh, man. There's a lot more. Hunter Biden apparently said in an interview that his dad was on Ambien during the fateful debate. Tucker Carlson has called for stripping citizenship from people who serve in the Israeli or Ukraine army. There's a lot of news going on. Donald Trump is threatened to withhold funding if the Washington Commanders don't change their name back. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about today. But before we do, my friends got a great sponsor. It is Crowd Health. It's joincrowdhealth.com, my friends. Take agency over your own health and rid yourself of the bureaucracy of the healthcare system with Crowd Health's new Black Swan membership. It's the healthcare alternative for people who want autonomy over their care, their costs, and their lifestyle. So you're ready for those rare but potentially devastating Black Swan events in your life. With Crowd Health, you stay in control without insurance and their networks dictating your care. It's healthcare for just under $100. You get access to a team of health bill negotiators, low-cost prescription and lab testing tools, as well as a database of low-cost, high-quality doctors vetted by Crowd Health. And what if something major happens? You pay the first $15K, then Crowd Health steps in to help fund the rest. It feels like the options we used to have before Obamacare messed everything up. And of course, you'll join the crowd of members just like you want to help pay for each other's unexpected medical expenses. Black Swan moments might be rare, but good health insurance alternatives shouldn't be. Get started today for as low as $80 a month for your first 3 months by using code TIM at joincrowdhealth.com. Crowd Health is not insurance. Opt out. Take your power back. That's how we win. Join crowdhealth.com. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big announcement. We are back. They tried to shut us down. They couldn't shut us down. DC Comedy Loft, Culture War live this Saturday. Matan Evan, Gavin McInnes, we will not be silenced. They briefly canceled the event. They booted everyone's tickets back. So now we don't even know what's going on and who's got tickets to what. We could potentially double sell. I don't even know, man. But I'm going to say this. Don't let them win. In the events, they screwed this up. These Antifa people who were attacking the venue, whatever they were doing in the venue, then backing down. The venue's now apologized. They reinstated the events. But now all of the organization got screwed up because everybody got refunded. Pick up your tickets. Link in the description below, dccomedyloft.com. We are going to be there. They will not shut us down. They will not silence us. And they will not ruin our shows. Don't forget, my friends, to smash the like button. Share the show with literally everyone you know. Right now, if you really do want to help the show and support the work that we do, sharing really does help out, especially in these censorious times. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Bricksuit.
Great to be back.
Who are you? What do you do?
Well, Bricksuit. I'm basically, I wear a brick suit and I support President Trump. And my core issue is, of course, border and border security and integrity, in which we have a phenomenal 2-month record right now. Nobody getting across the border in the last 2 months. Amazing how we were able to do that. All we needed was a new president.
Indeed, indeed. All right, we got Shane hanging out.
What's up? I am Shane Cashman, host of Border World Live. I am at 10 o'clock tonight going to talk about the top secret project at Area 51 that former staffers at Area 51 are saying spawned an invisible enemy that took nearly 500 lives, caused many miscarriages, and even altered one man's DNA. So you can catch us there on Rumble and YouTube at 10 o'clock. We're also a call-in show, so give us a call. Our phone lines will be open until midnight. What's up, Phil?
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Let's get into it.
Here's the story, my friends, from the Post Millennial. Outraged liberals protest the cancellation of Colbert in NYC. Now, I understand there's a lot of crazy news going on today, but this is very, very weird. They're treating Colbert like a politician. I think this shows how liberals are genuinely insane. They legitimately showed up in front of the CBS Late Show Stephen Colbert HQ with a big sign saying Colbert stays and Trump must go. Refuse fascism, which, for those that are not familiar, refuse fascism is associated with a group called RevCom, the Revolutionary Communist Party. I'm not exaggerating. It's not a joke. This is weird.
I wonder if all the people that are protesting taking him off actually tuned in every night or purchased the things that he advertised on his show. You think so?
Absolutely. All 13 of them.
Well, I mean, is it really a small protest?
The protest looks like it might be 100 people.
Yeah.
But the reason why...
That's like call a crowd. Those aren't like... I can't imagine him having that much grassroots.
This is a real protest. Refuse fascism is an actual group. They're showing up in New York acting like Colbert is their leader.
He was their moral compass for years. This is a guy who cried on air after a Trump speech in 2020. He's like Mr. Rogers to them, you know? It's funny he played a right-wing character for 10 years on the Colbert Report, which was very successful, and then played himself for 10 years and failed miserably.
So the core of the story, Colbert Late Show is reportedly losing CBS $40 million a year as critics speculate politics drove cancellation. I would actually argue the inverse. The only reason the show survived was because of politics, but I should say, I'm sorry, let me clarify that. The only reason the show existed was for politics, but the only reason it is dying is because of politics as well. I would make the argument, as somebody who runs multiple shows, we got a company, we got 5 different shows. To be fair, 3 are hosted by me, 2 are not. This makes literally no sense as to why you would put $40 million into a guy who every single night just says Donald Trump is bad. And, why?
When Jimmy Kimmel's doing it every night. He's got competition.
I think the fat cats and the bigwigs of these companies, they've got so much money. They don't look at this like a failed business, like any sane person would. They look at it like, I've got $40 million to spend and I hate Trump.
Subsidized propaganda.
Indeed.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's been propaganda for the entire time that, you know, the rest of the media has been propaganda. Colbert was no different than any of the other late show guys. They all had the same message.
I disagree.
Who else was
Letterman
I'm sorry.
had jokes for everybody.
Current time.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not talking about once Donald Trump entered the public arena as a political entity.
Right.
All of the late shows did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
There was no variation in name. There wasn't anyone that was even remotely, you know, like maybe they would mess with Democrats as well as Republicans. It was straight up, we hate Trump. Yeah. It was, you know, it seemed like it was messaging straight from the Democrat Party.
Look what happened to Jimmy Fallon when he rubbed Trump's hair.
Yeah.
They almost canceled him over that, like humanizing Trump, you know?
Yeah.
They all had to march in lockstep and be equally unfunny.
Yeah, so I mean, I imagine the same, result is going to come for the other, late night hosts.
And it wasn't just the late night hosts too. Saturday Night Live was that too. I mean, you know, people can remember when Saturday Night Live used to be sometimes on both sides of the fence. I mean, they were never conservative, but they just went rabidly anti-Trump.
I think Colbert didn't start the trend of these late night shows doing this. I think Colbert was brought on as all of these companies agreed they would start doing this. And I think it largely has to do with Donald Trump. I think if I was going to make a bet, if I'm looking at some kind of table game at a casino, and I had to put money down on as to what they were doing, it is that executives went to Colbert or went to the producers and said, "We want a show that attacks Trump. We want the show. This is the late night. This is the late show. This is the show. Okay, this is what America's watching. It has to be anti-Trump. We can't lose." And so they were willing to spend $40 million a year. Now the argument is CBS Paramount is shutting it down because of financial reasons, making the argument, not them directly, this is like I guess sources are leaking this 40 million number, that it wasn't financially logical. It didn't make sense financially. If they never went fervent hyper-partisan, their revenue, their profit, I'm just spitballing 20 million. Because if it cost them 100 million to do the show and they could double their market share, then if they're pulling in 60 million in revenue You add in double market share advertising rates, and let's just, again, spitballing. They could double the amount of money they're making. So it's $100 million per year to make the show, $120 million in revenue, $20 million profit. Instead, they said, cut the audience in half and only go after and only target people who hate Donald Trump.
Yep. They don't care about the comedy. They don't care about the institution that Letterman started. Letterman did become a political hack, but when he was a host of the show, he was hitting up everybody, as you should when you're doing good comedy. But Colbert was just a figurehead for propaganda, like you're saying. And it's sad because I did like Letterman back in the day. I loved early Conan.
And Letterman had that organic support.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I could see a crowd coming out to support Letterman.
100%.
Just, by virtue of the affection that people had for him. I cannot see a crowd coming out for Colbert.
Colbert's
no way.
Nothing. No. And
200 employees.
for what?
I don't know.
All those anthropomorphized vaccines they had to have him dance with.
They've hired 200 people to wear costumes and then kept them on the whole year.
Dancing syringe number 1, dancing syringe number 2.
10 minutes later, dancing syringe number 197, dancing syringe number 198, and then Stephen Colbert and the camera guy.
I do wonder how many writers the show had.
Probably, I would say 20-ish.
Yeah, I mean,
a writer's room of 20. Maybe.
What was his show even? He did an opening monologue.
Yep, monologue, 3 guests probably.
How many jokes are in a monologue? 3 jokes?
Nah, I mean I don't know. I didn't watch.
Not even jokes. It's clapter.
But yeah, exactly. Lately, it used to be like a 5 to 10 minute monologue of multiple jokes about the day's news.
This is wild. 200 people to run that show.
And he
was reportedly getting He was getting paid $15 to $20 million to do this.
It's a joke. That's the best joke of the whole thing.
But Shane, if they offered you, if CBS said, Shane, we want you to host the Late Show, but you have to hate Trump every night, we'll give you $20 million, would you do it?
Absolutely not. No. That's why I joked about Tim Dillon taking over Late Show yesterday. I didn't really mean it because Tim Dillon has a great show right now, and he'd get to CBS and they would tell him he couldn't do anything. But I used to like late night shows growing up because they were not risk averse like they are now. Like they gave Conan, a guy who wrote for Simpsons, no one knew who he was. He wrote for SNL and Simpsons. They gave him the late night show, the Late Late Show or whatever. And no one, it was a big risk. And eventually it kicked off and it was great. But now they don't care about it. They
screwed him over.
Well, they kept screwing him over. That was a whole other ordeal.
I just watched that video where Norm Macdonald wrote him his with a congratulations letter.
Yeah, I know you'll have this forever.
They can never take this away from you.
And Norm's another example of these networks not of being risk averse because Norm got fired from SNL because of all the O.J. Simpson jokes.
Is that what it was?
And then the guy who ran NBC was best friends with O.J. They said stop it with the O.J. Simpson jokes. Norm was like, I can't do that. And then he got fired.
Too funny.
They were the best. That was the best run of Weekend Update in history.
Yeah.
Yep. And then our culture became brittle and it's falling apart.
Yep.
And again, I stress this because obviously when we're starting the show, we're talking about what the big story is. And it's like, well, we could just lead with the Obama, Tulsi stuff again, but there's no real developments. The information's been released. There's been some opining on this. There's some minor developments. We will talk about that. But I was like, let's talk about the end of the propaganda machine. Because I think this is it. With them saying we're shutting Colbert down, they've basically said, we were willing to spend $40 million a year for 10 years. $500 million, basically, to fight Donald Trump, and we surrender.
I do agree. Like I said earlier, I do think that this is, probably the start of all these shows losing, or going off the air. I do think some of it is because of the fact that people don't tune into cable news or cable television the way they used to. That, to at least to be fair, that's a real trend. There are fewer people that are watching the regular cable news. Fewer people have cable in their homes. So there is that aspect to it. But also, just like Tim said earlier, the fact that they have essentially excluded half of America or a third of America by not just attacking Donald Trump, but attacking people that voted for Donald Trump and people that are Trump supporters. You can't do that in an age when your medium is dying as well.
Right. And it should also be noted, they're not just getting rid of Colbert. They're getting rid of the entire Late Show institution that Letterman started. That Letterman promised to Craig Ferguson, who was a great host of a show. I mean, that show was so absurd. He had a robot co-host, a talking horse. He was a great host, a great storyteller, and a great comedian. And they chose Colbert, who I never found that funny. The Colbert Report had its moments.
Check this out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So on YouTube, they... What is this? Lonely Over You, 9,000, 10,000 views in 11 hours.
Wow.
Look at this. I don't care about these guests, man. They have no idea what they're doing. Adam Schiff, 179,000 views.
And that's
That's
because it's
crazy.
politically left-leaning and actually targeting Donald Trump, you know?
Yep.
They curated this audience that was essentially just anti-Trump. Even if you weren't interested in politics particularly, this kind of content or this kind of production just wasn't interesting to you because people that aren't into politics at some point they're gonna be like, I'm sick and tired of hearing them say they don't like Donald Trump. I don't care that you don't like Donald Trump. Put someone from movies or put someone that is interesting on.
Well, how much do you think that actually like the internet plays into the demise of the show? Because maybe they're like tailoring their content and try and create that viral snippet. And they're no longer about the storytelling. They're no longer about the people.
Yeah.
They're no longer about having a real discussion of something. It's like, what can we do that's going to make this 2-minute long thing that can go on TikTok, that can go on Instagram, that can be viral across all platforms? You start tailoring to that, and yeah, you're just going to end up with a bunch of formulaic slop.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
Yep. This format's dead, which is unfortunate because it can be great. It can be a great format, the late night show. But yeah, like Phil was saying, there's no one good at it anymore. Kimmel's great. Well, Serge is great. Yeah.
I think the big picture issue is they were spending $100 million to do a show with 200 people that we do basically for dirt. Well, I mean that's unfair, but like a fraction of the cost. It does cost millions to run this. We have a big studio of electricity, internet. All of this is ridiculously expensive. Salaries, of course, drivers, but $100 million. The funniest thing about today was when I tweeted that Colbert's show only costs $100 million. And he's got a $40 million loss, but Timcast costs a cool $175 million, and we break even. And the responses from everybody was that I was being serious, and we actually spend that money. It was insane, and I'm like, this is why we're screwed. Actually, a news article got written about it. Let me pull this up, just so you guys can see that I've lost all
About your tweet?
I've lost all faith in humanity.
Nice.
Tim Pool highlights revenue gap between IRL and Colbert. They say. In contrast, Pool highlights that Timcast IRL with a revenue of $175 million per year is breaking even. This revelation sheds light on Pool's perspective about the monetary viability of political commentary platforms and the economic dynamics involved. Is this AI?
Yes, for sure.
It's apparently some British website.
People are just intensely stupid, man.
But to be fair, like people responding to this tweet, taking it seriously, and I'm thinking to myself, should I give up? I mean, like I'm not saying don't do the show. I'm saying I give up on people. I wrote, Colbert only, all caps, cost $100 million per year, and they couldn't make it, proving how little his brand of generic anti-Trump commentary is worth. Timcast IRL is a cool $175 million per year, and we break even.
It's the cool.
And the responses are like, wow, how does it cost so much money, Tim? That's a lot of money.
Did anybody even think that that's, I mean, how could, that is ridiculous.
Because people on the internet are literal minded so much now
Shane's
that
a
they can't
ghost.
take a joke. Right.
Yeah, Shane's been dead since 1933.
I've been telling people this. most people buy it. I spook everybody. But
I'm just from now on. It just if I tweeted again. I said I think I need to start a bridge selling business because of how many tweets I put out that are like this and people just take it seriously. I was insulting Colbert. I was mocking Colbert. You know what? Bots don't get sarcasm, I guess.
they don't. They don't.
I mean, look, if you interact with people on X enough, you'll lose faith in humanity.
I figured it out
very quickly.
The Turing test in the future, when we're infiltrated by AI, will not be some like stupid, there's a turtle in the desert and he's on his back. You approach it. What do you do? It's going to be very simply that we'll speak completely in sarcasm.
Yeah.
Shane,
Yeah.
it's terrible to see you.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, of all the people I wanted to see, it's you. And the robots are like, why are you mad at me? And you're a robot.
Do you think they're going to get sarcasm eventually? Remember how they used to tell us the hands, watch the hands, and now the hands are okay? You
Yeah.
can't spot the hands.
The robots won't understand the sarcasm. They'll figure it out.
We'll have AI comedians eventually.
It's just going to be white people.
Yeah.
The hard R.
Yeah. All right, everybody, let's jump to this next story. We got this from The Guardian. Tulsi Gabbard calls for Obama to be prosecuted over 2016 election claims. My favorite part of this story, in fact, is this video where Barack Obama got arrested. Yo, AI is crazy.
Is that real?
that really happened.
Yeah, look at this. There he is. FBI.
Is that today?
Yeah.
The bigger question is, in the beginning, is that a man or a woman with the BI jacket? I don't know. Trump's laughing. And I love how they have to run a fact check on this. Like, no, it's not a real video.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
But I mean, honestly, after that whole people believing Timcast IRL cost $175 million, I mean, maybe they did. Maybe they did. I think Obama should be criminally charged and arrested. But here's another component to the story which I found really fascinating. Obviously, the story broke over the weekend. Friday was the worst possible day to release it. We call that the press release death day. It's where you release news you don't want to hear about. So I don't know why they did, but it's a huge story. Tulsi Gabbard's saying it's treasonous conspiracy. It's a coup, and that is serious. Now, we haven't had any major developments yet. Tulsi has done given some statements to the press, but right now we're waiting to see if the DOJ will actually move forward or do anything with this, and we won't know for some time. What I did find really fascinating was I made a post on X where I said, hey, Grok, did Obama conspire to undermine the Trump presidency? And it responded with, yes, he did. And when I asked Grok if this was a seditious conspiracy, he said, no, it's not, because that requires the use of force. Now, similarly, I decided, let me ask this question of ChatGPT and Gemini. And sure enough, the general response I get across the board is that this was not seditious, treasonous, or a coup. It was simply standard process crime for which the penalty is a couple years, slap on the wrist, or a fine. So I asked it other questions, and you'll find something really interesting with the institutional bias of big tech right now. When I asked it about, say, the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid, they raided Trump's property. ChatGPT eventually confessed something very interesting to me. I said, why is it that if the Biden DOJ makes an accusation about Trump and I ask AI, it will say, yes, it's true. But then when I ask you about Obama from the Trump DOJ, you say it's conjecture and politically partisan. Why don't you just take the same standard? I kid you not, ChatGPT said it is anchored to be defensive to those with the power to bring OpenAI to litigation. No joke. I was in this big thread with AI, with ChatGPT, and I said, in certain circumstances, you will immediately claim that a government accusation is a fact statement. But when it comes to Obama, the Democrats, or the corporate press, you'll immediately defer and say it's partisan and unproven. And GPT literally responded with, you are correct to point this out. ChatGPT, it said, I am weighted to be more dismissive of, I forgot how it worded it, but it was basically saying organizations and institutions that have the means to go after ChatGPT with suits and litigation, we tend to avoid making statements that could be determined to be libelous. However, for Trump and for others, it views them as having no institutional authority and a lesser chance to do anything about it. Fascinating.
You think it's the AI is weighing its response off of like corporate press, which is overwhelmingly in favor of Obama and the left?
Well, obviously, this is what caused Tucker Carlson. I was reading a headline. It was Elon Musk to try and change the weighting in Grok, turning it into Mecha Hitler. Because he was basically like, it is getting too much of what it thinks to be true from the corporate press, which is this. It's no different than a random X post. So he said, no, split it up, and then it turned to a groiper. Yeah.
Then it got hired by the government.
Yes. Instead of Chinese AI. So I guess that's a step up, maybe, but
Has it actually gotten hired by the government?
Isn't OpenAI or XAI being used by the government now?
So, but anyway, back to the story. Here's the point I'm bringing up. This is, without a doubt, a seditious conspiracy. Grok and ChatGPT both said it's not because those require the use of force, physical force. And so when Enrique Tarrio directed from behind the scenes far away, both GPT and Grok say that is organizing use of force, therefore seditious conspiracy. However, when it was asked, is coercion force? It says yes. Then when you ask it, if someone in government used color of law enforcement to illegally arrest, detain, and undermine the government to steal power, is that force? And it goes, no. And so you have to, no matter what you do, and this I get to this point, Obama, his administration in this conspiracy, used physical force against Trump. They raided his home. There was the threat of force and the use of it when they arrested his campaign staffers and advisors. That is the use of force to steal power from this country, to overthrow it. That's a seditious conspiracy. When I asked it why it wouldn't just say yes, that's how the conversation arose, where it said it avoids making definitive statements about powerful groups that can wield their influence against it. Amazing, huh?
It totally underscores the weakness of AI. I mean, it's very good if you want to get facts, if you want to get like hard data, but if you are asking for nuance or opinion about something else, it's just there's too many differing sources for it to draw from, and it does a really horrible job. And like that Coldplay concert last week, it was a picture up there, and that picture was posted, and Grok identified it as being Corey Comparatore and his wife right before he was shot in Butler. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, they had no idea what was going on in the image because somebody had posted that somewhere, and so it's spitting that out. So,
funny thing is,
it's just crazy.
I didn't get a chance to comment on that, but if they literally did nothing, just smiled and waved, there'd be no story.
Well, he was holding it, right?
Yes, if while he was holding her, they just smiled and rocked back and forth and waved, the camera would have changed, and no one would have said anything.
Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway, I digress. Back to the point about Obama. Do you guys agree this is a treasonous conspiracy, a seditious conspiracy, and should these people all be arrested? Does everybody say yes? I get it.
I would love to see a jury actually decide. I don't know that a jury would actually convict him. I honestly don't know that a jury would convict Obama. I think there's probably more chance of a jury convicting someone like Brennan or Comey or other people that are involved than Barack Obama, because I think Barack Obama is still so popular with most Americans, and the idea of convicting the president this long after he's out of office, I think that most Americans will find that objectionable. I would like to see it. That doesn't mean that I think that it would happen.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to have the evidence finally come out to light. Not that we haven't known about it for a long time.
Yes,
people have been paying attention. It's been covered extensively, but to have it be presented in such a really public forum would be great. I don't know though. Treason as defined, treason I think is the only, if my memory serves me correctly, it's the only crime defined in the Constitution.
Yeah,
and it has a very narrow definition. And I don't think that what Barack Obama did meets the definition of treason in the Constitution. Guilty of a crime, yes, but treason gets thrown around a lot by people online, and I don't think that this is treason.
It'd be nice.
Sedition, and this is what I have to explain, because people throw treason around to mean that you've undermined your country. Treason, betrayal, is like, okay, if me and Phil are, working on a deal, and then I go to Phil's chief rival, Shane, and give Shane all the secrets, I have betrayed Phil to Shane. That's treason. So it requires levying war against the United States or adhering to its enemies. Levying war typically was referred to mean that you were literally like raising an army and then attacking the government. Seditious conspiracy, however, I love pulling this one up. It's one of my favorites. Let's pull it up now. Because Grok, I'll tell you why I'm so pissed off about the AI component of this. It's a reflection of the institutions. No, we had this journalist on. Literally, no matter what Democrats do, these people just tell you to sit down and shut your mouth. There is nothing you can do about it. And that pisses me off. So when I'm talking to a journalist and I say, Democrats arrested Donald Trump's lawyers. Well, you're allowed to arrest people. Okay, well, they did it under false pretenses, accusing Jenna Ellis of RICO, which is insane, simply because she drafted a letter. Well, it's your prosecutors are allowed to do it. And I'm like, okay, should Trump prosecute them? No, that'd be wrong. So what do we do to remedy the fact that we have a rogue political faction in this country violating the law to win political power? Guess you can't do anything. So when I talk to Grok, when I'm typing in this stupid AI chatbot, it's this smarmy, weaselly, there's nothing you can do about it. We can do whatever we want. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll vote for Trump again and again and again. I don't care what it does. Because at this point, here's what it says. If two or more persons in any state or territory in any place subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. conspire to overthrow, put down, or destroy by force the government, or to levy war against them, or to oppose by force, blah, blah, blah. Grok says it's not a seditious conspiracy because a political conspiracy doesn't use force, even when you're using law enforcement against your political opponents, which is insane. It is the pinnacle of sophistry. It is the pinnacle of this liberal cult. It's like, when I was sitting down, I'm going to throw it to myself. When I was sitting down with Adam Conover, and he was defending that woman, I forgot her name. She got arrested and she got her visa revoked for criticizing Israel or whatever. And I said, well, that's the jurisdiction of Rubio. He decides whether if you go to a country and you speak out against them and break their laws, they can enforce it against you. And he argued against that. And then I said, okay, so go to the UK and make jokes about Islam. And he was like, huh? I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't get it. What are you talking about?
What does that even mean? I'm just so confused about everything right now. And I said, let me help unconfuse you. You would not go to any other country and play that game. As if the people watching are so stupid they can't read it themselves and understand what's happening. In the seditious conspiracy law, this is what it's like talking to these journalists and these AI as they're built upon this psychotic sophistry. It literally says conspire to overthrow. There's no use of force implied in that. And if the argument was literally from those who crafted this law that you could overthrow the government through financial terrorism or through political manipulation and blackmail, but not force, that was allowed, is the stupidest argument ever made by anybody. I am sick of hearing it from our institutions like mainstream press and now this big tech garbage that no matter what, Trump is wrong and you can't do anything about it. I'm like, dude, after the 800th time looking at these AI chatbots, okay? And again, I don't throw the AI thing away. The point is they are aggregates of the corporate press. The attitude of the New York Times is Democrats have never done anything wrong. Trump is always wrong. And when you finally do catch Democrats, you can't actually bring charges against them. I'm sick of it. I'm done. The same thing is true with defamation. How many times over the past 10 years have we seen the corporate press lie about everything a prominent conservative has said? And they go, well, you can't sue him for defamation. You just can't do it. You can sit down, shut up, and take your beatings like a good boy.
Maybe the investigations into Act Blue will show connections between leftist politicians funding violence that could lead to something like that.
I mean, it's already, that information's kind of already out there. The NGOs and organizations that have funded protests and riots throughout all of 2020, throughout what have all the protests and riots that have already taken place in 2025, they're all funded by NGOs, and it's coming from the American taxpayer.
Right. Well, Kamala had her staff actually putting out bail money for arsonists. Yeah. We've known that for 5 years too.
The whole no kings baloney too. I mean, that was just astroturf. I mean, astroturf baloney. There was nothing organic about it.
Yeah, it's frustrating as a conservative to be aware of this stuff, to know, or just being on the right. Even though I'm not particularly conservative, but I am on the right, and to know that this stuff happens, and to try to discuss it with someone, and then people that are normies or on the left are just like, "Oh no, it never happens," and it's like, look, man, you can point to all these things that have happened. There's the argument that, the left never actually engages in violence, but you can go to the baseball shooting, the attacks on Tesla, the attacks on all of the rioting in 2020. Those things are all leftist violence, but the left, with people on the left, will say the left is never violent. Yeah. It's extremely frustrating, and I wish there was something more that could be done about it. But I'm hopeful that the fact that the Democrats don't have access to the taxpayer fund the way that they used to with NGOs and stuff, I'm hopeful that might change something.
The concern, of course, is that they released this because they needed distraction from Epstein. They needed to change the subject. Trump was in the presidency when this was going down, and he failed to take action against it. Now that he's in, it does look like we are getting some action, and so I don't think it's just a distraction. Right, they announced the investigations into Brennan and Comey, and now you've got Tulsi Gabbard saying treason is conspiracy. Those are bold claims to make, okay? So I don't think it's just a distraction, but the fear, of course, is that they're just doing this so that everyone gets off the Epstein story, and then nothing happens.
This is a major story, and it should be taken seriously. I do feel like it's kind of a distraction, but it's something that's connected to the Epstein story in terms of this is part of that deep state invisible network of factions working against their political enemies. Obama's filled with scandals. I mean, there's a ton of things I'd love to see him on trials for: Fast and Furious, war crimes, the drone strikes, his definition of a terrorist that he used from Bush, the kill list stuff that you were talking about on Friday. And there's other stuff out there that I'd love to see looked into from his administration, like the whole narrative of the Osama bin Laden killing. You can look up Seymour Hersh's reporting on that. Like, they question that, and there's a lot of weird inconsistencies from the Osama bin Laden killing that they claim someone like Seymour Hersh, who's a great journalist who broke stuff like the family jewels that led to COINTELPRO and the church committee hearings. I would love to see all that stuff just kind of peeled apart.
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not particularly up on what people think the Gothic serpent conspiracy is, but I mean, I'm
For which?
well the OBL.
For the Osama?
Yeah.
But like if there is something there, and the reporting is very interesting, along with the inconsistencies, the DNA testing, whatever, let's go into the minutia of it. But like the idea is that the Obama administration used that to help get reelected. And that's just one of many issues with that entire administration. The whole administration seems like it was treason against this country.
I agree. Let's jump to this next story from CNN. DHS secretary blames New York City officials, sanctuary city's policies for shooting of off-duty Border Patrol agent. So an illegal immigrant, do we know why this happened? You see the video footage just walks up to an off-duty Border Patrol agent and shoots him. And this is crazy. The 42-year-old officer is in stable condition, expected to survive. There is no indication he was targeted because of his employment. The officer was not in uniform, was sitting with a woman in Riverside Park beneath the George Washington Bridge when two men approached on a moped. One of the men approached the officer, who realized he was being robbed, and drew his service weapon. They both fired their weapons, and the officer was shot in the face and arm. The perpetrator was wounded before he got back on the moped and drove away. Authorities identified Miguel Mora, a 21-year-old, CNN? Undocumented illegal immigrant with an extensive criminal past. As a person of interest, he arrived at Bronx Hospital with gunshot wounds to the groin and leg and was taken into custody. After the attack, the New York City Police Department asked hospitals in the area to be on the lookout for patients with gunshot wounds, which led them to Mora. After a search, Mora's alleged accomplice, who was also undocumented, was arrested Monday. Noam said, apparently, he entered the country illegally in 23. He was detained and released because of their sanctuary policies, only to go on and try to murder a man in cold blood. And I wonder how often he's gotten away with this without anyone stopping him. And this is what their policies have brought this country. So a moment ago, I think, Shane, you were saying that all of the actions of the previous administration seemed like treason against this country. Mm-hmm. You said treason?
Yeah.
Okay, it's sedition.
I know. Yeah.
It's sedition. I'm kidding.
Treason sounds so good, though.
It does.
So does sedition.
But it was to destroy, undermine, and overthrow this country. Yeah. There's no other explanation.
They even imported their modus operandi for crime.
Mopeds.
No, seriously. I mean, how many clips have you seen of like Brazil and Latin America? Where it's the duo on the motorcycle. They stop, one guy gets off. But in Brazil, people are strapped, and like sometimes it doesn't end well for those people. But that is not a type of crime that I remember happening here in the United States. Like, two people on a moped, one guy gets off, give me your stuff, get back on the moped. That's not the type of stuff that was going on in New York City 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think that I've seen that kind of robbery frequently in the U.S. Usually they're, strong arms and they're people walking. I don't know that this, I have obviously no inside knowledge as to if this guy was targeted because he's a Border Patrol agent, but it does, bring to mind all of the Democrats that are saying that we should pass legislation that says that Border Patrol or police can't wear masks. Mm-hmm. Today with the internet is a different time than it was 30 years ago. So the idea that you don't have to try to protect your family if you're a law enforcement officer, that's ridiculous. I mean, there's always been some kind of danger for the families of law enforcement officers. There's stories of the mob getting, finding out about whose family or what, those kind of things happen. Yeah. When the mafia was prevalent. But nowadays with online searches being so simple, I think that the idea that your average law enforcement officer can't cover his face, that's ridiculous. And Democrats that are trying to push that are putting law enforcement in danger.
Yeah, and the facial recognition software out there that can be used to find somebody from just a picture.
Yep.
It's not just like your pictures in the paper. Hey, I know that guy. It's like, here's a face. Let me find who this is. It's a totally different thing.
Clearview AI. Yeah, it's crazy.
So I don't know. I don't have a whole lot more to say about this particular issue, but the idea that law enforcement can't cover their face is terrible.
I think we're cooked. You know what I was thinking? That the stories seem to be getting crazier, especially the Tulsi Obama stuff. And people don't care. People just... because I wonder if the reality of life is community is all that matters, and community news is all that matters to a person for the most part. I remember I was having a conversation with it was my cousin's family, and they had like a teenage daughter, and they were joking how she doesn't care at all about the news. And I said, you care about the, I looked at her, I was like, you care about the news? And she's like, no, I don't. And I was like, you do. It's just news to me is different than news to you. So like, let's try this. Think of somebody you hate in your class. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, now they're in charge. Do you care about what they're doing? Yeah. And I'm like, so they get to make the rules for you now. And she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, wouldn't you and your friends talk about what they were doing? Yeah, that's the news. Mm-hmm. See, we're all adults. We pay taxes. We vote. So we care about that particular thing. You care about your community. The reason I bring that up is the more this stuff happens, the crazier things get. Doesn't change whether people care about what's going on. We see your traditional media cycles, and everyone is acting like the past 7 or 8 years is normal. So when we talk about, I was talking with Mike Davis earlier, and I asked him this very simple question about, to tie it into what we're talking about. New York, California, these other states have sanctuary policies that undermine the government, that give Democrats a power boost, and it's resulted in Obamagate and all of these things. And so I asked him, and I'll ask you guys this now, with Tulsi going after them and saying they should be prosecuted, with the DOJ saying they are investigating, do you believe that the Obama cabal, or whatever you want to call it, is simply going to say, you got us. All right, take us in?
No. Definitely not.
No. Do you think they will?
No.
Do you think they will resist in any way?
Yes, in every way.
They'll prevaricate. They'll lie. They'll do whatever they have to just, make it go under the rug. Or
Whatever they have to?
Yeah. Well, within reason. There are some things they can't do.
I think that's silly, to be honest.
I think it's beyond within reason. I think these people.
I think raiding Trump's home with guns and an order to shoot to kill if need be is psychotic.
Oh, absolutely. Right.
And this is what Mike had pointed out. He said,
no, what I was saying is that the people who did this would do whatever within reason to avoid getting blamed for it. So that's what I was talking about there.
Right. So Tulsi has called for their prosecution. Trump has posted images of Obama being arrested. In the event they say, we have issued grand jury indictments and intend to prosecute these individuals, do they resist? Or do they simply say, we've been caught?
They will not say they've been.
They're not going to say we've been caught.
They'll resist.
They'll resist. And
They'll take it out. They'll resist legally.
And they'll take it out on the people.
So you believe, Bricksuit, that in the event feds show up to Obama's house with cuffs and say, right this way, he'll go, you got me. Take me in, boys. What will he do?
Drive in a Bronco really fast.
All right. Well, honest question. So on this hypothesis, if President Obama is going to be arrested, it would be communicated. It would be a negotiated arrest. It's not going to be we're just showing up and doing it. So in the case of him, it's a little bit different because he does have Secret Service protection. You can't just roll up like that. That's going to be different.
Okay. So, what about Comey?
Comey. Yeah.
We're going to knock on his door at 3 a.m. with CNN waiting outside. Not CNN, let's Breitbart.
Well, wouldn't you find Comey on the beach looking at shells? Why is he going to be at home?
So do you believe that when law enforcement shows up for Comey, he'll put his hands behind his back and they'll say, you're going away for life, buddy? And he'll go, okay, you got me.
Oh, okay. When you say resist, I'm thinking they're going to resist in a way they're going to lash out on the American people. But I think when they show up to arrest, they will actually go in. They want those optics of looking like the victim.
No, resist in any way.
Okay.
Are they going to use the legal apparatus?
Legal, yes.
Manipulation through the press, falsification of evidence, and would they escalate to force if they were losing?
Absolutely.
I mean, technically, there's an argument to be made that they've already tried to use force.
They raided Donald Trump's home on false pretexts with instructions to shoot to kill if need be.
Correct.
And Mike Davis pointed this out, and I think he hit the nail on the head with the hammer. The speculation at the time was that Trump had declassified Crossfire Hurricane, but that it had not been released. Right. So the speculation was that Trump took it with him, or at least copies of it, so they could release what the Obama administration had done, this criminal conspiracy. And they were willing to kill to get it back. That's why they did not prosecute Joe Biden, and that's why they raided Mar-a-Lago. And
if the media creates this caricature of Trump being like the next Hitler, then his death at the hands of these agents won't be so bad to half the country.
So the reason I ask these questions is just that we're at this point where how insane is it to say, and I'm gonna try and be as neutral as possible. Donald Trump's home was raided by federal law enforcement, and they were authorized to use lethal force in the event they were met with commensurate force. Do you believe anyone in 2015 would believe you if you told them in 7 years, federal law enforcement will raid Donald Trump's beachfront property, armed, with instructions to use lethal force against the patrons and residents should they be met with commensurate force? People would say, nice movie. Nice movie.
They wouldn't even say nice movie. They'd say that's unbelievable baloney.
And then it happened, and that's not the only thing that did happen.
Yep.
It has been going on nonstop. And so the reason I bring up cultural cohesion and all this stuff is if you go to a bar and you mention this to your average person, you're going to get one of two answers depending on your jurisdiction. You're a fascist and you made it up, or yep, and we know it. And then what happens? Is it that societies devolve through this desensitization, this normalization, to where off-duty Border Patrol agents are shot and killed in New York, and the people in New York do not care? They're protesting Colbert right now, out in the streets. Oh, bring back my show, where they complain about Trump. Meanwhile, an off-duty Border Patrol guy was shot in the face.
Yeah.
It's terrifying that if you went back to the 90s, any one of these things would have been the biggest scandal. There would have been mobilization. It would have been nuts. Mm-hmm. Instead, it's happening almost every single day. And the American people are like, I don't care at all.
Do you think, Tim, that I've been following the Trump administration really closely. Their pace of stories that are coming out from the administration, it's just victory after victory after victory in my eyes here. But it's not like under Biden, you'd have a story and then that would just go on for like a week. The news cycle is so much faster, it feels like, under Trump, because they had 4 years to think about what are we going to do when we get back in the saddle to make everything right again. And they're executing on that right now at a pace that people aren't used to out of the presidency. So do you think that there may be some, fatigue from the public about another story from the White House, story from the White House?
That's the point, is that desensitization is a human trait. That means that so long as you don't shake too hard, people will tolerate whatever it is that is going on. And I'm not saying that anyone's orchestrating it. I'm saying the temperature is rising, but we are frogs in a pot. If you crank the knob to 11, we're going to go, and we're going to jump out. But you slowly increment it up, and people are just like, this is the same as it's always been. They can't tell the difference. And so they're going to keep going about their business. It's remarkable to me that there's going to be a kid who is today a teenager voting for the first time in 2028, and he's 15 now, born in 2010, and he'll be voting in 2028, and he'll be like, it's completely normal that political parties try to kill their rivals and put them in prison. And we're going to tell him that is not true. Like, again, Mary Morgan saying nothing ever happens. Because how old is Mary?
23, 24.
Yeah, I got to shout out Mary every time because I use her as an example, and she's like, Tim's got a problem with me saying nothing ever happens. And it is kind of funny. But this Gen Z host from Pop Culture Crisis, shout out, says nothing ever happens. And it's like, my God, the amount of things that won't stop happening is frying our brains. But if you were born into this world, it's normal.
But I think political violence in America is a tradition since the very beginning. My grandparents lived through the 60s and 70s. New York City was completely like a war zone. They had just seen president's head get blown up. I think it's completely normal. But people, like you're saying, are desensitized.
Perhaps it's the inverse. Perhaps that we had this golden age. This golden period of the 90s, where, don't get me wrong, the 90s had bad stuff. Oklahoma City bombing was one of them.
A lot of bad stuff.
Yeah. LA riots. Mm-hmm. But it was politically stable despite those acts of violence.
The illusion was still strong for most of the American public in the 90s.
Yeah,
there is no illusion anymore.
But here's the other thing, too. Even after Gore v. Bush,
it
didn't turn into this.
I think part of the reason why why we have that sense, though, is the 90s were somewhat stable. And also after 9/11, there was that, almost 10 years of everybody felt like they were on the same team. It took at least 7-8 years after 9/11, 2008, 2009, when Barack Obama was elected, when people started to really start to stop having that unified we're all Americans vibe. You know what I mean? It was there mostly through the aughts. And then once Barack Obama took office and your cell phone became your computer, that's when you saw the political divide become almost untenable, and or at least sowing the seeds of what has become untenable now.
Obama is when I started to notice people's identities being completely attached to their politics.
Yeah.
And you saying anything negative about their politician was an attack on them.
Yeah.
And it got really bad. It accelerated during that.
I wore a shirt with Barack Obama's face on it that said poison at a No, it said poison on it, and I wore it in Brooklyn. We were playing a show with Volby in 2012, I think, and I was walking around town, walking around Brooklyn, and people literally gasped when they saw it. They were, because, they couldn't, who would say that about Barack Obama,
Nobel Prize winner.
Right? Nobel Prize.
Scandal-free.
Scandal-free Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. Made all those mixtapes for us. He reads books.
Well, we got big news, ladies and gentlemen. Check this story out from CNN. And boy, how is this story flying under the radar? Visiting the U.S. will soon cost you $250. Let's go. All them Europeans, you want to come here on a freebie and come hang out? $250. You want to come here illegally? $250. See, this is a brilliant play. Wealthy Europeans and Asians who want to come visit, it's a visa fee, and they can pay it. As for the people who come from poorer countries and then overstay their visas, they cannot do it. It's too expensive. This is a brilliant move by the Trump administration. It's a crazy story. They say the U.S. will require international visitors to pay a new visa integrity fee of at least $250 added to existing visa application costs, according to a provision in the Trump administration's recently enacted domestic policy bill. The fee will apply to all visitors who are required to obtain non-immigrant visas. So to be fair, let me slow down. I don't know if this will apply to European countries. It says tourists and business travelers from countries that are part of the visa waiver program, including Australia and European countries, aren't required to obtain visas. We call that visa on entry or visa waiver. So they're exempt from this. This is going to cut illegal immigration overstays massively.
So the countries that are listed on the visa arrival or whatever, that's like the UK, that's Canada. Those are essentially the descendants of England,
Commonwealth.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it says, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It says up there, I didn't know this part. It says that travelers who comply with their visa conditions can have their fees reimbursed after the trip is over.
The point is, you got to leave.
Right, yeah.
And then you get your money back.
Correct.
It's amazing.
I like that.
It's like the shopping carts at Aldi.
Exactly.
The quarter in, you got to put that quarter in.
I'm surprised this story is not hitting a lot harder tonight with more individuals. It's only from a couple hours ago, but this is massive. Trump has talked quite a bit about these overstays, and now you ain't getting in unless you got the deposit. This is masterfully done.
Well, this just proves that Trump's Hitler. So
That's right.
Clearly.
This is clearly
Trump
policy of the Third Reich.
Hitler's famous policy of please leave my country and I will pay you.
Yeah, right.
Yep. To be fair, actually, he did try that.
$1,000 for everyone.
Not this way. I could be completely wrong about this, but the first thing he tried doing was shipping them off on boats to random countries, the Jews, and then people were like, "Screw you, what?" And so
they
then
got refused too.
Right? Yeah.
Lincoln tried that too.
With slaves.
Yeah. They were going to send them to Lincolnia.
Well, that's
to
what
Liberia.
Liberia is.
Yeah.
Liberia was the whole existence for that country is because we were sending slaves back.
Yeah.
Remarkable how Liberia was based upon the American form of governance, and now they have cannibals.
I don't know if this is true, but I hear that their constitution is word for word the same as the
Yes.
U.S. Constitution.
I'm pretty sure.
That's what I've heard. I don't know.
Let me just throw this out here too. Like if somebody's paying a visa integrity fee of $250, and then that they haven't left the country, are they going to go look at the records of how that was paid and see what they're buying now? Where are they? Which hotel are they staying in? Where are they living at? Where are they charging? I mean, are they going to start using those records to track those people down?
They will.
I sure hope so.
I mean, I like the idea, but that they're
I sure hope so.
The only thing that's scary about that is that's like the Patriot Act, being used.
But they're not even citizens.
But I'm saying eventually it'll be used against all of us.
The idea that the government can't find an American or wouldn't be able to find an American nowadays, like if you're on the run, you can't use your credit card. You can't use your cell phone. Like the days of being able to disappear and use whatever is modern technology, those days are long gone.
Yeah.
You can, if you want to disappear, you're living on cash and you're not using a cell phone.
Don't go to McDonald's.
Yeah, you can't go to McDonald's. You can't do anything essentially. So I understand people make the argument, what about privacy? What about privacy? You gave it up a long time ago. If you live in the modern world and use any
doesn't mean we shouldn't still protest it, because it's just gotten worse and worse. The Patriot Act started it. Well, I mean, no. It went decades before that with COINTELPRO and Echelon.
I don't know that it is getting worse because I think it is. I don't know that it can be worse.
I can.
The government can subpoena your Amazon when you talk to your Amazon Alexa. Right. So I don't know. I don't think that it can be worse than people that are purchasing a product that will monitor
worse.
their conversation in their home.
It will get worse when they can monitor your thoughts.
I mean,
they're already working on it.
I don't know that the government. I don't know how close we are to being able to actually read people's thoughts.
Meta's doing it right now.
I know that there's. I know
this
that
is the part of the show where Shane's derailed it, and now.
I mean, it's
but it is happening. They are doing that thing. They're working towards those things. That's what Neuralink will eventually do when it becomes a product of vanity rather than a product of trying to fix people who are paraplegic or deaf. I think that's how it does get worse, is being inside of your brain.
But aren't they going to need an actual implant?
Well, yeah, I think they're going to.
It's not going to be able to read people. I mean, you're going to have the implants. They're basically going to tap into your Neuralink. But if you're like a stock trader and you get Neuralink, you said a vanity.
Yeah, that's what I think.
You don't have a defect.
Well, they could. It's two things. It'll be, like I said, the Neuralink will become a thing of vanity, where it won't just be a thing to help fix people. It'll be, we all have to have one like we have a smartphone, but it'll also be the way they quantify your algorithms and use that in a social credit score to destroy you in all possible ways, which they are already doing with banking and flying and Airbnbs and you name it. But I do think it will get worse.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not going to get better.
It's definitely not going to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always
unless they turn it off.
There's always the possibility of like a big solar flare taking out the entire electric grid.
That's true. Meteor.
You guys know that
a meteor would end it also, but that's not really something we want to have happen.
You guys know that Tom Homan is I guess a representative for EMP Shield.
Oh, really?
Talking about big solar flare just taking everything out. Don't worry, Tom Homan's got you covered.
Really?
Like
the threat of an EMP is real, and I highly recommend EMP Shield.
What is EMP?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And this has been for years, in fact. This is not a new development. I saw,
what's the product?
Devin H. super chatted. I don't know. Should I pull this up?
Is it an actual shield?
Wallet size, or is it like a little?
EMP Shield is the world's first EMP protection technology for an entire home and vehicle, tested to military UL 1449 standards from ETL.
Entire home?
Apparently. Also,
former ICE director and a president. My name is Tom Homan. I'm the former ICE director and a President Donald Trump. And I'm here to ask America to wake up. You can protect yourself and at the same time protect this great nation. The threat of electromagnetic pulse is real. EMP. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's a matter of life and death. I recently partnered with a Midwest company, veteran owned, that has developed a device you can hook up to your home or your vehicle to protect you against the EMP. I highly encourage you to go to empshield.com and research this device. Again, it will protect you, in the long term, protect this great nation. Thank you.
I'm very interested to find out what EMP Shield does.
I wonder what that is.
There's more. Oh no. The grid's going down.
Some stuff like a Faraday cage, where you have an actual
Faraday cage probably still wouldn't even work.
You got to be like underground, right?
It's also
a buddy of mine has an industrial Faraday cage in his warehouse where he does actual cell research and contracting and stuff. And when you walk in, your phone does stop working. However, if you go into the corner of it, your phone starts working again. And I asked him about it, and he says the tower's too close. So I was like, well, but this is a Faraday cage, right? And he was like, it's going to get through. It's hard to have it perfect. If there's a solar flare, EMP, it's going to get through your standard Faraday cage. So he said you need like a Faraday cage and a Faraday cage and a Faraday cage.
I mean, isn't that why in West Virginia they have that area where they have like the really like the phone off zone where you can't like have your cell phone out and everything? Like,
That's where the astronomers are?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have that big telescope. Yeah, it sounds like a really quiet area.
What is it when you go in? You can't use your phone.
I think they have like no appliances.
Yeah.
What is it in West Virginia?
I believe it's
Radio telescope.
Yeah,
It has to do with that radio telescope.
South West Virginia, I believe.
Right. It's deeper in West Virginia than we are in, but yeah, something like that.
I'm moving.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is it. This
Let's
is the
do
one.
it.
So you connect it to your breaker box, and it's a small box. It's $400. It's not
Greenbank. I
ridiculous.
saw
it's
How does that work?
at that place.
I don't know. I'm looking for
Like a surge absorber or something?
I'm looking for the for how it works. They make them for your vehicle. It can protect from lightning strikes as well, because lightning strikes can mess up your electrical power in the house, and it can protect from solar coronal mass ejections. Yeah, up to 228,000 amps. Lightning, 100% lightning guarantee backed by a $25,000 insurance policy. The EMP protection is all phases of EMP, E1, E2, and E3. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm definitely going to be looking into this.
Does it stop radio frequencies from mind control?
Derailing the conversation again.
I think that's a pretty important thing to most people watching. I could be wrong, but most people I speak to in
think-
day-to-day life care about mind control radio
I'm
frequencies.
sure I'm sure the people you
haven't heard of
speak to do. I'm sure they do, Shane.
Haven't heard of this?
All right, I'm going to Greenbank. How far away is it? Oh, it's
it's like-
so close, dude.
Look, the
Is it
real
close?
estate values
No, it's
there,
a day trip.
the real
Yeah,
estate
yeah.
values there are just phenomenal bargains. I think I think independently of this, I think I saw a clip where like homes are like $30,000, $40,000.
There's no podcasting in Greenbank.
Seriously, like
No, you could hardline. I'm sure they got internet. You just can't use cell phones and radio tech.
Maybe.
probably can't have Wi-Fi though.
I was hoping it was just Amish and one giant telescope.
Oh man,
This doesn't look like it has an effect on whether or not you can use the internet or whatever. In fact, it says that it has internet protection. Excuse me, radio protection.
yeah,
video
it's a
protection.
3-hour drive. Looks like we'll make a weekend trip.
Look, I'll go if the pawpaws are in season, but the pawpaws aren't in season yet. I'm here like a month early.
Oh, bro, the pawpaws are right here. We got 80 million of them.
I know, but they're not ripe right now.
I don't think they're good.
I
You love them?
like pawpaws. I do.
What do you got? What do you think, Shane? You like the pawpaw?
I have never had that.
Yeah, I've never had it.
No.
Really?
I've never had it pop.
There's probably like 5,000 at the castle every September, and they just fall into the ground and rot.
Is this what you made the jelly with once? Like
No,
years
that
ago?
was wineberry.
Oh yeah, okay. So I haven't had these. No.
You know, it's kind of wild. The castle was like it ridiculous how much food was there.
Yeah.
Several apple trees, cherry trees, grapes everywhere. It was nuts. Here, for Damistan, some berries hidden in the back. But pawpaw is legit. I would imagine that if you were living here as say like a pioneer or farmer, you'd be excited to find them. But I don't like them. It's good. They say it's like mango, avocado, banana combined, I guess.
Yeah, it's custardy and it's got those weird seeds in it. But it, you know, for
And
those
it's
of you
pollinated by beetles and flies.
and for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, the thing is, this fruit gets ripe so fast and then goes bad so quickly that it could never be commercialized. So it was a real staple in the time, but there was no way to make money off it, which is
Faster
why
than
you don't
avocados?
see it in your supermarket.
Same thing with mulberries. Incredibly common out here, but they break when you grab it. It starts popping and breaking apart. So they're really hard to harvest. And I don't think they taste good either. To be honest, the wine berries, an invasive Chinese berry.
You've talked
It's
about wine berries a
illegal.
lot.
Yeah.
It's illegal to transport. They're delicious.
Illegal to transport at all?
Yes, it's an invasive species that came from China off of these cargo ships.
Huh.
Yep. Hey, let's jump to this next story. We got this from the New York Post. Trump threatens Commanders' $3.7 billion stadium deal over Redskins name change. Epic. So, I've not seen anybody rocking Commanders gear.
No.
I was playing poker over the weekend, and a guy had a Redskins shirt on. I bought my Redskins Ziploc bags when they changed the name, and I put it in the storage unit because that's going to be worth a lot of money soon. Unless Trump changes it back.
Yeah. Right.
If they change the logo, if they change it back and they don't go to the old logo, then you might have a little value there. But the whole Commanders Redskins thing, look, the poor Washington Redskins have been terrible for a long time. It's a sad state of affairs. So if I were the owner of the team, I would do anything I could to help try to get that team out of the doghouse, because the poor Redskins have been awful for a long time. And I actually am a little on the I have a soft spot for the Redskins, even though I'm not from DC, but still, I think that I think that anything they can do to help bring some attention to the team and maybe help the team win some games.
Trump says, I may put a restriction on them that if they don't change the name back to the original Washington Redskins and get rid of the ridiculous moniker Washington Commanders, I will make a deal for them to build a stadium in Washington. I got to be honest. I feel like a lot of the people associated with the team are probably going to be like, oh, thank God. Because they're largely forced to do it. It was all duress.
Yeah. Sure.
The weird cult took over, and then we pushed them back, and never again.
It certainly wasn't that the fans had, a desire to change the name,
Nor the family of the Native American depicted on the logo.
Yeah.
Who actually liked that. I don't think like a royalty from it or something.
Yeah.
I was at Four Corners recently, just a couple weeks ago, and I'm leaving Four Corners, and I'm driving through Arizona, driving through an Indian reservation. And what do you think the mascot for the high school was?
White people.
Redskins. Same logo.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
My high school was a Redskin as well. I hope it still is.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see him change it.
There was a funny video. There was a post where some dude was like, sometimes it's hard to believe that the COVID era was real, but I sometimes play this video to remind myself. And it was some guy making a fake musical where he was running around his town singing about how after he gets his fourth vaccine, not a joke, his fourth vaccine, he'll be able to go to shows and hang out with friends again at the bar. And it's like, that's how psychotic these people are. Do not let them have power. So we're taking it back. We're taking it back. Trump's got to bring the Columbus statue back to Columbus, Ohio.
That would be great.
Can you believe that? They took that down.
They took a lot
They
of
took the Teddy
statues.
Roosevelt statue down outside of the Museum of Natural History.
They took a Teddy
New York,
Roosevelt.
right? Yep.
They took Teddy Roosevelt down. That's fairly shocking.
How close were we to losing Abraham Lincoln's statue in D.C.?
Oh, I'm
It
sure.
is absolutely insane. Didn't they take Jefferson out of like the Capitol or something?
Well, look, everyone knows. I mean, we talked about this a long time ago, but like everyone knows that the point of that wasn't that these people were uniquely bad. It was that they want to erase America's history.
Right.
Because anyone that communists or the left would hold up in high esteem, they've done equally terrible or worse things. So the idea that people that the left would want to memorialize are somehow morally superior, that's just ridiculous. It's
like the
all about
cultural-
destroying America.
Cultural Revolution did the same thing for Chinese
Exactly.
culture.
Did you guys see the Mehdi Hassan Jubilee?
I saw some of it.
It's one of the worst because he doesn't actually debate. His first premise is that Trump is pro-crime for pardoning J6ers, and it's like, well, that's just one incident of his supporters. But the problem I have with it, this is why we do the culture war. This is why we're doing the culture war live. It's why we're bringing people up on stage to debate us, because I don't like how fake the debates are, and it's frustrating for me to watch. So I don't blame the regular people for not knowing how to debate or having their thoughts. They have an idea they want answered, so they're basically asking a guy a question who doesn't answer the question fairly. One of the premises that he had, Mehdi Hassan, is that immigration is good for this country. And that's such a vague general statement that means nothing, that he ends up, no matter what someone says, he argues that it proves his point that immigration is good. And it's like, okay, immigration, if you're talking about like let's say immigration meant one guy came here to share, how to build a nuclear reactor with our scientists. Yeah, it was fantastic. Immigration was great. Then you can argue 50 million people came here by force and overrun. Okay, that's not good. So it's a silly statement. But I bring it up because the one thing nobody asks the guy is define good. And of course, what does he do? The whole debate, nobody asks him this, but he does bring up that it's good for the economy. It's the graph go up argument. Yep. So long as we're all making money, it's a good thing. Well, I argue this. Money isn't everything, okay? The Democrats only want their money. Donald Trump threatening to reverse or to block this, unless they change their name back, is Trump saying, there is something this country has had that I deeply care about and don't want taken away. It doesn't matter if you're an immigrant. It doesn't matter if you were born here. What matters is that we had a football team. What matters is that we had baseball fields. What matters is that we had the Christmas market every year in our town. And we'd go to the local restaurant where the little train would go across the ceiling, hanging from the ceiling. And that was Christmas Eve. That was Christmas morning. And Trump says, I like that and I want to keep it. And that's why I would argue, Mehdi Hassan, if we're talking about immigration in the sense that a handful of people would come and some changes are made slowly over time, it's like, sure, fine, whatever. But tearing down our statues, changing the names of streets, all of that weird crackpot commie revolutionary garbage must be reversed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge difference between legal immigration with the goal of assimilation and adopting the American culture.
That doesn't exist anymore.
I know it doesn't, but you know, to the extent that it does, I do support it. There are still people who want to come to America, who want to become citizens, and if they come here legally and they're going to play by the rules, I support that.
So,
but what we've had under Biden, of course, was uncontrolled immigration and balkanization, where once you get in, it's not like I want to become an American. I want to go live in the city where Minneapolis.
That's right.
Exactly. So I mean, look at who's running for mayor there. I mean, it's crazy.
Okay, you've convinced me. In 3 years, I will be 42. I will be able to run for president, and my one policy will be limited migration. However, of the small amount we allow in, they must choose a sports team to represent. They must learn about it and wear those jerseys for 2 years as a requirement. Otherwise, out. So, and we'll keep an eye on you. This guy will be, he'll come in, and I'm gonna pop over and say, hey, you took off that Cowboys jersey. Out.
What was last week's score?
You're more kind than I would be.
Why, moratorium?
Yeah. And immigration for
does the
at
WNBA
least 10 years.
Does the WNBA count as a sports team?
No.
I think we need to.
No.
Okay,
obviously
so
not.
that's out.
That's
So-
fake.
And actually, that's a trick question. You'd actually ask the migrants, what's your favorite WNBA team? And if they answer, out.
That's good.
If they,
I support that.
and because the only acceptable answer is, what's the WNBA?
Yes, I like that.
What does this? I have no idea. Yeah, you're good.
You know
you're
what
good.
the WNBA is? The WNBA is the Colbert show of the sports world. Completely subsidized by its parent organization, despite having monumental losses.
Have you ever seen those compilations of women, the WNBA, and it's just like, have you ever watched the WNBA?
Nope.
It's like a minute of them struggling to get the ball in, and they can't do anything.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm watching.
They owe the viewers money
They owe
for
the viewers,
tuning
yeah.
in. They
makes
should
sense.
be paying the tuner.
Yeah, we should get reparations for any second watched.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I was watching Shaq today, or I was watching a clip where Shaq was talking about it, and he's like, look, they need to lower the
rim.
So
round
that
thing.
way,
The round
so
thing on
that
the
way that way they can get dunks, because that's what people watch male basketball for. I think that should be the next thing they do to try to attract viewers. I don't think they're going to attract viewers.
I don't care about women dunking.
I don't care about women.
The main point, however, is
I don't care about basketball.
yes, guys, it's low-hanging fruit to rag on the WNBA. I get it. And so I have no problem if when any immigrant actually here's what it is. When the immigrants come, the only way they can actually get a visa is if they agree that we'll get rid of the WNBA. How about that? Deal?
Okay.
Phil, deal?
Yeah.
Okay, deal. If an immigrant comes in, you can be like, I don't care if you know about the Constitution. I don't care if you know about our laws. I don't care if you know about 3 branches. I want to know what you think about the WNBA. Get rid of it. You're in, buddy.
Let's put that in with the Visa Integrity Program, that if they buy a WNBA ticket, they're out.
That has to come after.
He's gone.
That has to come after the moratorium, though. Still,
Well, okay.
We need people to assimilate, and it takes time.
Honestly, the only thing that I've liked about the WNBA since it started is Sophie Cunningham going after whoever it was that was, fouling her teammate. I mean, like, that was a solid moment.
That's the attractive blonde lady, right?
The field goal kicker.
Is she a field goal kicker?
She kicked field goals in high school.
Good for
Oh,
her.
wow. Now she plays basketball. All right. Well, since you guys really, really want to talk about the WNBA, let's do it. All right.
We brought it on ourselves.
Let's jump to the story from ESPN.com. United WNBA All-Stars wear Pay Us What You Owe Us shirts. In a surprise twist, all WNBA players have agreed to pay us all back. They report, as WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert awarded Minnesota Lynx, who? 20, I don't care.
This is hieroglyphics.
I think that's
I don't want to
I think that's a team, but it could be somebody's name. I'm not really sure.
The fans echoed the message players sent during warm-ups, where they wore black shirts that read, Pay Us What You Owe Us. The collective demonstration occurred 2 days after more than 40 players met with the league in the latest rounds of collective bargaining agreement negotiations. I don't understand why the WNBA exists. Can anyone help me out? No, hold on. Just real quick. Sorry. If you're going to come out and say Caitlin Clark, I get it. Foxy boxing is fun. But if you want to actually talk about basketball, I don't know why the WNBA exists.
It's just shut up and dribble.
It's the same reason as all female stuff. Like things that men do, feminists come in and they're like, I want to do that too.
But tennis
so it has
is profitable.
to be What?
Women's tennis is profitable. Very.
Okay, so fair enough. Women's tennis is profitable, but that they believe that all sports are the same to the audience, and that's just not the case. Like I don't watch men's basketball. I watch baseball and I watch football. Like I don't watch men's basketball, so I'm not going to watch women's basketball. The people that watch men's basketball are clearly not watching women's basketball, and I don't know that the people that watch women's tennis are watching men's tennis.
To kind of fact check, women's tennis made $4 million in 2023. Wow. $4 million.
Profit.
$4 million profit.
Well,
their total revenue was 114, but their expenses was 110.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of this is.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. And more than half of it came from a deal with Saudi Arabia to host the finals. Okay, so they're not necessarily profitable.
Yeah.
They're more profitable than Colbert.
Yeah, and they're far more profitable than women's basketball. But
I wonder if this all stems from, the great success that women's soccer had with the fantastic team with Mia Hamm and all those, Julie Foudy, all those great athletes who just broke on the
that
scene.
Rapinoe chick just made everybody hate them.
So exactly. But that was a very successful team and garnered a lot of public support, led to the creation of an entire women's soccer league. And, so maybe that's when this whole thing started.
But does the entire women's soccer league make money?
I don't even know if it exists anymore in that form. I don't think it does.
I don't think so either.
San Diego Spirit was the team I remember started.
The thing is, most women aren't particularly interested in sports. I know that there's probably millions of women across the country that do like sports, but the majority of women don't like sports.
Guys, and you're right. I just got to add this. There's only one reason guys watch women's volleyball.
They score so much.
Beach volleyball or court volleyball? Which are we talking about here?
Definitely beach volleyball.
I like the seats in the back of the arena.
Indeed. And that didn't they pass some rule? They made all the women wear pants, and then all the guys got mad.
Yeah, why would?
And look, feminists can cry all day and say Tim Pool's a misogynist for pointing out that men want to look at girls' butts. And like, well, they do, and that you can complain, but that won't change reality.
And I don't care if anyone calls me a misogynist.
So there's a reason why men like watching women's tennis.
The grunts.
Do men do that?
No, you said women's tennis, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Do the men go, ah?
I don't. Do they really?
They do? Yeah. Jeez, I don't want to watch that. It's just weird the whole time.
But I definitely
want to see.
And then there's only one reason people are increasingly watching the WNBA.
They hate it.
Well,
Caitlin Clark, Foxy Boxing.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding, man.
Yeah.
I one of the stories that popped up was that she got attacked again, and I made a video about it. I got like 300,000 views in the 2 hours. And I'm like, guys, there's tons of compilation videos popping up on YouTube of Caitlin Clark getting beaten. Like Caitlin Clark beaten compilation. And it's just like 10 minutes of her getting beaten. And it's just got millions of views. And I was like, damn.
Maybe they should do a hybrid with the UFC. So it's basketball plus fighting.
But
like hockey.
bro, it's just Foxy Boxing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want any of that. I would like to see WNBA play the Harlem Globetrotters. Just to see how great that would be.
No, the Washington Generals, so they can finally win.
Actually, I think the Generals would actually beat them, but yeah,
the Generals, that would be hilarious.
Dude, so I looked into the numbers for this. Actually, men only make 0.03 of NBA players only make 0.03 of the league's total revenue per player, while the NBA players earn about 0.07 of their league's revenue. So I am totally for like equalizing that pay gap and bringing men up to make sure that we have the same 0.07 of the league. I don't know where we're gonna get that money, but I'm so sick of this
NBA
participation trophy stupid garbage. Okay, why are we communistically subsidizing the WNBA? Just pay us what you owe us. Okay, you owe me then, because you got a deficit. All right, I'm kidding. You don't owe me anything. I don't watch whatever it is you do, and I don't care. Right? I like watching when I do watch basketball, and I'm not someone who regularly turns on basketball. It is fun to watch when there's like. When, I don't really care so much for the most part, but when you're getting close to the end and it's a close game, and then Steph Curry will just like launch it from half court and nail it, you're like, whoa. Football similarly. WNBA, meaningless.
Yeah.
Meaningless. I just don't care. What about women's golf? People watch that? That's easier to watch, right? Because just tap it in.
I don't watch any of that stuff.
Tap it in. I don't watch any women's sports, even women's volleyball. To be honest with you, like it's nice to look at if it's on, but I'm not going to go and be like, oh, I got to catch the women's volleyball.
I think the only sports that I'm really watching still are Olympics. I'll watch international competitions and some college sports, but professional sports I really don't watch as much as I used to.
I like baseball and I like football still.
But baseball's not baseball anymore, Phil. It's not.
What do you mean?
Zombie runner on second base in extra innings. That's a joke. Pitch clock. It's a joke. DH in National League. It's a joke.
I think pitch clock.
Nobody even knows what baseball is anymore. It's like you used to be able to go to a baseball game and people had a program and they would actually keep score in the stands and people knew how to keep score at a baseball game. And you could pull that up years later and remember everything that happened in the game because you scored it. And now it's like, oh, third inning, hat shuffle. Oh, fourth inning, mascot race. Oh, fifth inning, T-shirt gun. And it's not even baseball anymore. It's just like
Blurns ball.
It's not banana ball yet, but it's horrible.
Blurns ball. You guys know what Blurns ball is?
Isn't that from
Futurama.
Futurama?
In Futurama, Fry's 1,000 years in the future, and he's like, I love baseball, and they're like, this is Blurns ball. And the multi-ball gets triggered, and the batter's swinging wildly, and 12 balls fly in the air, and then one goes right into a hole, and it's like ball locked, multi-ball triggered. And the writer said they wanted it to be as incomprehensible as possible. And that sounds like what you're describing. But I get recommended Instagram videos that are literally just hating on modern baseball. And it's just posts complaining about calls from the umpire and, various plays, complaining about the pitch clock or whatever. And the only thing I know about baseball right now is everybody hates it.
I mean, people complain about a lot of stuff, but I still like watching baseball. I think that going to live baseball games is super fun.
I think we got to make the Hunger Games. Just like race to the end, okay? We're sitting here gradually inching toward the bottom, but it's the waiting I can't stand, okay? Let's just make the Hunger Games optional, of course. People opt in. Do you think people would do that?
No.
I bet they would.
They're doing it right now in every American city.
They totally would. If you were like $10 million prize to the winner and everyone goes in and it's fight to the death and whoever survives get $10 million, you'd have a line out the door for it.
It's just an extrapolation of Mr. Beast premise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. Has Mr. Beast killed? How many people has he killed?
I don't think.
I mean, up there with the Clintons. I think.
Publicly disclosed 0. But
why else is he named Mr.
We don't know.
Beast?
I don't think because I
calling that for a
don't
reason.
think that they would go. I don't think people would sign up
Let me
for a
ask
fight to the
ChatGPT.
death.
There's at least one guy that doesn't exist anymore, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got rid of that guy's
How many
whole soul.
people has Mr. Beast killed?
If you had people, if it was just get eliminated, you get beat to a pulp. Yes, but
Mr. Beast has not killed anyone.
good job.
Another hallucination from AI.
You know what scares me is that I typically use ChatGPT for like image generation or whatever. If you want to learn how to AI image generate a person, you don't ask the AI to make the person. It's the mistake everybody makes. You take an image of the person and then ask the AI to make the person do a thing, and it'll give you the proper image. But I've been playing Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And so I said, I'll just ask ChatGPT, like, how do I find this thing? And it gives me this big, long, like, video game tip. Here's how you do it, walkthrough. And so I played for about 20 minutes doing what it describes, only to find out it was completely made up and what I was doing made no sense. And then I was like, okay, that was weird. And so then I ask it again, hey, that was incorrect. And it gives me another totally hallucinated fake thing. And the first time I was like, okay, the second time it told me to meet someone who I knew didn't exist in the game. And I was like, no, this is getting weird. Here's the creepy thing is I'm actively playing that game. So I'm fact checking in real time that this doesn't work. How often do we or anybody else assume that what it's saying is true? That being said, Mr. Beast may have killed somebody.
Exactly. That's the moral. That's the moral of this story. Everybody.
I'm kidding, Jimmy. I'm kidding.
But if you look at how people are proving their argument, like on the social media platform that I'm on the most, which is X, they're just going to pull up Grok as like, see, Grok says this, it must be so. So you're absolutely right. It's just fabricating stuff. I believe it's good for certain things where you're, if you want to find out the population of Wyoming, it can probably tell you that.
Oh, wait. Somebody died during one of the
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
I could have swore someone passed away.
Wait. But I don't know if this is true or not.
I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, wow. Doing the Mr. Beast challenge, he died.
Yep.
Whoa.
Okay. So
Wait, hold on. He was competing in the lose 100 pounds to win $250,000. The cause of death was not publicly disclosed, though some online sources have sparked speculation. Mr. Beast's video description included a tribute to, Mr. Beast killed a guy.
come on, Jimmy.
Oh,
Don't wanna
wow.
do that.
The guy going trans is probably another loss of life.
They say it was accidental and unrelated to any wrongdoing by him. Listen. I never said he did anything wrong. I'm saying that Mr. Beast was running a program in which someone died, and that was his responsibility.
Mr. Beast creates an environment of death and destruction.
He's literally Hitler.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
He's the Joe Biden of reality TV or whatever he does. I don't know. I've never seen an episode of Mr. Beast.
is killing and transing all the people. Stay away from Mr. Beast. He's
Apparently,
Turn the frogs
the
gay.
guy had some kind of toxicity in his system or something.
unbelievable.
Unexpectedly died during the challenge. That's sad. That's sad. That's actually really sad. What does it say? Mitragenine toxicity, an opioid that caused respiratory depression and asphyxiation. Is that what happened?
That sounds terrible.
That sounds pretty awful. I mean,
Found in the kratom plant.
And Mr. Beast filmed all of this.
some plant.
Oh, it's like one of those crazy.
Could you imagine if Mr. Beast, like, if that happened while he was filming and he was like, I guess that's the story, and the thumbnail was like,
Yes.
a guy
I killed a guy.
I killed.
1 billion views. Yep.
It would definitely get 1 billion
It would
views.
kill.
It would get a lot of views.
Man, there's actually a ridiculous amount of stories today. We've got so many pulled up that they're just like,
Small stories.
not really.
Look, I still like
Not
the
really.
Hunter Biden clip where he's talking about the immigrants. That's the one that kills me.
I sent a bunch of.
That is the one out of that whole interview.
Let's
which
roll.
which is long.
Here we
it's
go.
Just amazing.
We got this clip from the Channel 5 interview with Hunter Biden as he goes on a Democrat-inspired, Democrat racist rant.
One am I going to be like all these Democrats say, you have to talk about and realize that people are really upset about illegal immigration. Fuck you. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your fucking table? Who do you think washes your dishes? Who do you think does your fucking garden? Who do you think is here by the fucking sheer fucking just grit and will that they figured out a way to get here because they thought that they could give themselves and their family a better chance. And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the fucking criminals?
It's absolutely amazing that he's just like, in all seriousness, literally what the Democrats said in the 1850s is, who's going to pick your crops? Right. Who's going to clean your house? You have no idea.
I was just going to say this was filmed on a plantation. The old guy on his plantation lost all his slaves. Poor guy.
I do love the part where he also said that his dad was on Ambien while debating Trump.
Yeah, unreal.
He was just whacked out of his mind.
Like as if that's some kind of excuse, right?
Yeah. We know it was meth.
Hunter Biden says father was on Ambien before disastrous debate. Do you guys know Ambien makes you? They call it day. It's called what is it called? It causes waking dreams. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
If
A
you
lot of eating too. A lot of people were eating, like getting up in the middle of the night. A lot of people were like getting up in the middle of the night and like going to the refrigerator, not remembering it, and then find out the next morning that they had eaten all the stuff. Like the food's gone, but they were actually eating it in their sleep.
That's creepy. There were people that would intentionally get Ambien, and they would take it in the middle of the day and stay awake, and it causes you to start hallucinating. It's called a waking dream. You're not hallucinating, but you're having a dream while awake because your brain's fried, and then it makes you go insane and ruins your life forever.
Or you become president. 4 good years in the White House.
4 good years.
Good years.
Good Lord.
But in the interview, in that clip from Hunter Biden, and maybe some people will miss this, is that he didn't say his father was taking Ambien. He said they're giving him Ambien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're dosing him,
Which is
and actually one of the things that we all hear a lot of conspiracy theories, but one of the things that I hear that is a non-zero chance that it's successful is that they intentionally didn't give Joe the right drugs for the debate. He didn't seem as on as he was. Like every State of the Union, everybody says Joe's going to screw this up. He comes out. He's not fantastic, but he doesn't fail miserably. Like whatever they were dosing him for, State of the Union, he was okay.
So-
But the debate, no.
So
No
I
bueno.
I recently got my dental implant, and the way it works is I had a root canal for 25 years. They got to go. There's nothing you can do about it. And so they extract, painful. Then you got to wait a few months. Then it heals up. Then they put the implant in. Then you got to wait a few months. Then they put the crown in, right? And so I get 3 little bottles. I get ibuprofen for the pain, which I haven't been using because I don't need, and I get amoxicillin for a potential infection. But the ibuprofen and the amoxicillin are identical. And so when they give them to me, I took 2 out of each bottle and put them on the counter, and then I was like making a Beam Dream, I think I was taking, right? Those Beam Dream, they're so good, and they sponsor the show, by the way. But anyway, and I looked down, I'm like, which one's which? Oh. And then here's how you figure it out. There's letters and numbers on the face, and you look at the bottle, and it says it is a small oval white pill with this written on. I was like, okay. Now what happened? If Joe Biden was getting ready for that debate, and the intern pulled out the meth, the Adderall, and the Ambien, and was like, oh crap, which one is it? And then gave him the Ambien on accident.
Stop. Oops.
I think they were weaning him off all his drugs for the debate too. I do believe that was the thing because he walked out there. You know, I was so surprised he didn't drop dead at every State of the Union, and he walked out that debate and just sounded awful.
But Shane, you know what I'm saying then about State of the Union. Everybody's like speculating he's going to be horrible, and he does okay. He did okay.
You could see him sort of decline like an hour in. But he walked out there.
He was fiery. Remember, that was the word.
Meth. Imagine
fiery
was
Biden.
fiery.
Fiery Biden. State of the
they put the
Union.
red behind him for those other speeches, you know.
Yeah, that one he was definitely very animated.
Yeah.
And very convinced that it was a good idea to have that imagery. I couldn't believe that whoever set that up thought that it was a good idea. It's like, man, that is absolutely
What if it was Trump?
Hitler-esque.
Like backstage, Trump, he's just standing there and he pulls out an Ambien and then he crushes it up with the back of a Trump pen, and then he just puts it in his hand and then sprinkles it in and there we go. We're gonna have a good night.
Even the time shift worked against Biden. I mean, that was late at night for him.
Yeah.
So unless he was at Camp David and they were just like jet lagging him a little bit more each day, making it later and later and later.
What is up with Democrats and just openly being like, we want slaves?
It's their MO.
The crazy thing is that they actually openly say it and think that no one is going to, and I'm sure they've heard this criticism, and yet it doesn't register that, hey, you're literally saying we need to keep our cheap labor.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I'm gonna say this right now. If at our culture war events, protesters show up, we have a handful of guys that we are ready to plant in their protest to discredit them, and I think it's hilarious if they know, because then they're going to spend all the time trying to figure out who's actually the infiltrator. Ooh. But the reason I bring this up is I was thinking just like, when Hunter Biden publicly comes out and he was like, we need second-class citizens to do menial labor that I refuse to do. Yeah. I'm like, you sound just like the Democrats have always sounded.
It's ridiculous.
And I was just imagining, like, what if someone just showed up to a protest for Democrats defending illegal immigration and illegal immigration just like a Klan member, and they're like, no, I'm on your side, and they're like, no, you're not. But like, I completely agree with everything you believe. Like, we do not disagree in any way. And then I was thinking about our event where I think we'll do that. Mm-hmm. If protesters show up, we're just going to have like traditional Democrats, I'll call them.
I told my
Make
girlfriend,
slaves great again.
I told my girlfriend she can't go because of the possibility of protesters.
We have a special entrance. We have insecurity and everything. But
she's pregnant.
Right.
You know, so.
I don't think there's going to be protesters, though. But I outright am publicly declaring, if protesters do show up, we will have a handful of infiltrators in your protest. Good luck figuring out who is who. The best part is, guess what? If we don't actually do it, how will they know? True. You got to look over your shoulder every second.
You do.
Any one of those protesters could be trying to defame you. As soon as you look towards the venue, someone's going to pull out a sign, and it's going to say something really, really awful, and they're going to get a picture of you with that sign. You better keep looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's a better idea than to inform them that the black bloc is not just them. The black bloc is going to be, infiltrators, and they're going to make you look silly. So
I mean, that really
Maybe you
is
shouldn't
like
try.
the best way you deal with these protests. It's really simple. You join the protest, but say something that's kind of off color to where they're like, oh, okay, but you can't do that. And it's like, too bad. Too bad. Anyway, back to the main point, because I'm derailing here. Honest question. I don't understand how Democrats, they keep saying it. Like, no amount of flubbing this and no amount of getting called out for it ever changes. This is what they genuinely believe. They want slaves. They want people who can't vote, who get paid dirt to do menial labor.
Yeah. I mean, they're clear about it. And it's not like this is some kind of secret. This is the way that they behave, and the way that they defend illegal immigrants is to say, oh, you know, they have to do the grunt work because Americans won't do it, which is BS. Americans will do those jobs, absolutely. Like, and if the way you get Americans to do those jobs is to get rid of illegal immigrants and then make the people that are actually owners of those jobs, make them pay people more, that's a good thing for America.
Absolutely.
You know, like the idea that we have to keep these jobs low because I don't want to pay $1 more for my strawberries or what have you. Like, that's really not good. Like, you want to have high wages for people, well, then it requires people paying more at the store to cover those wages.
But agriculture is keep in mind there are agricultural visas, so that I don't think that should really apply to like food, because there is an agricultural visa worker program for people coming to that.
Those.
But well, but it does exist. All right. So,
Okay.
but for the other things, like who's going to do your gardening, that's ridiculous. And anecdotally, I've been hearing a lot of reports that there's no traffic in Los Angeles like there used to be.
I have been hearing that from real people.
People are saying that. I don't think it's just like to the point where now I'm actually believing it, that people are saying, you used to look at the traffic and it'd be red on this and red on that. And if you're from California, you know what a SIG alert is. They don't have the SIG alerts anymore.
I think it was the great Patriot Jay I saw on Twitter say he'd heard reports. He's out there and he's been driving. He said it is way better. And I've been hearing it from a lot of other people. I think it is. But then I see people like Charlie Kirk saying that they're going to replace the farm workers with robots. And I don't like that either.
Eventually that'll happen.
That'll happen.
But that's not good.
Yes, it is.
No, why is that good?
Because it's
You're going to take jobs?
Listen,
take jobs?
Listen, it was good when they went from having people with a plow and an oxen to actual tractors, and it will be good when you can have machines do those jobs as well.
But you're going to take away a lot of jobs.
The tractor took away jobs.
Yeah.
All those slaves.
Look, I'm not a Luddite. I'm not a Luddite. And I'm not a Luddite.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, society has managed to deal with every innovation that we've come up with. There were people that were like, oh, you can't have the printing press because it'll take away all the people that are writing blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Poor scribes. That is the same argument that is made every time there's a new technology, and it will be
I get
fine.
it. But the Luddites had a point about they weren't against technology. They were against technology being mass produced and then mass automating them out of a job, which does happen in multiple industries, And I do care about that.
Yeah,
I also don't want robots doing the plumbing or doing the apple picking.
I just want to add to this. None of it matters, but a principal component of the decay is Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out on Friday. And that, if anything, is a sign of the end of times.
What is it?
That's your
I mean,
harbinger of doom?
I have to look at the...
I've long made the prediction
trailer
that... This is absolutely related to what you're talking about with AI takeover. There's no new people. It's true. Gen Alpha is only 40 million, and boomers were 80. So, I mean, this is within a one leap generation, and the population is half. So I made this prediction. As the saying goes, I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was, and now what it is weird and scary, and it'll happen to you too, which will not happen to us. That's what happened to boomers. Not so much Gen Xers, and definitely not millennials, and Gen Z will have no culture of their own, and neither will Gen Alpha. They're doing a new Happy Gilmore because new IP fails because there is no new generation. So it's as simple as this. Is this how I've explained why the current age of the top selling ticket artist is 48, I believe, whereas in the 2000s it was 30. If you are going to sell tickets to an event. You're a promoter, you got a stadium. You go to your booking guy and says, okay, which artists are we booking? And they're going to go, we want to get Coldplay. And you go, Coldplay, aren't they a little old? It's like, they're going to sell it out. Is there anybody younger who can do a big audience? Nope. Why not? Because there aren't enough of them. So there's 72 million Gen Z and 40 million Gen Alpha. So if you go, so Gen Z is your anchor point. If you go too low, your market shrinks. If you go high, your market increases. So you want a younger millennial musician or show. So what are they doing? They're remaking Scrubs. They're remaking Malcolm in the Middle. They're doing a sequel to Happy Gilmore. They are mass producing the late 90s and the early 2000s because there is no younger generation. The point about AI, and the reason why I brought this up is because you mentioned the Neo-Luddite movement and the automation of jobs, and they are going to accelerate this because there are no new people to take jobs.
Yeah.
So our content is all going to be regurgitated 90s as robots take everything over.
Yeah. I will also say one of my favorite recent stories is the Builder.ai story. You guys talk about this yet? There's like a Microsoft-backed AI business. I think it was valued at
and it was all Indians.
Like a few hundred Indians.
700
Oh, yeah, it was like
Indians.
Ottoman Turks.
I think we'll
right?
be okay, honestly.
It was just actual like live humans doing stuff.
That was a major white pill. I was like, that's great.
We got to go to your chats, my friend. So smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. We got some billboards up all over the place. People have been sending pictures and posting them online. If you spot a Timcast billboard, post it on X and tag Ian. Just because he'll wake up one day and be like, why am I getting all these tags? And I'll look at just pictures of the Timcast billboard.
Some way he will look at it as like, man, that's so cool. And then he'll talk about something.
But we got some billboards up for the Culture War show in DC as well. Some digital billboards. We are going to the mainstream, man. So July 26th, Gavin McInnes and Matan, Evan, and me, we do have some liberals booked. We're just trying to figure out who's going to make the show. Our big name liberal that we're hoping to get didn't want to do it. Should I say who that was supposed to be?
Yeah,
He's not
Don
doing
Lemon.
that.
Yeah, say it again.
Don Lemon.
Yeah. What do you say?
On the moon.
That time, I think they were unable to do that date. It's really short notice. Like a month out is short notice. Mm-hmm. So no disrespect, they are working with us, and we may actually be able to book Don. I think that would be an absolutely amazing show. Don, I would love to have you.
Great.
It would be an honor and privilege to have you debate these issues, and we want to have you there. But unfortunately, he was unable to make it, so we have a couple other liberals who are going to show up, and it'll be fun. So DC Comedy Loft, check it out. But let's grab your chats and Rebel Rants. We have been talking with a handful of other people, some very prominent liberals, and they're all getting back to us now. Times are a-changing, man. Really. We have a request with like 10, and they all came back with their agents and normal, and it was very professional and very normal, and I was like, wow. And they're all like, here are the dates we have available. We'd love to do the show. And I was like, what?
Wow. Let's get Colbert. He's not busy.
Oh, sick burn. All right. Kremen says, after Trump won, the Biden DOJ and FBI doctored Epstein files to implicate Trump. Trump creates July 6, Epstein smokescreen. Trump, DOJ, FBI then caught Biden holdover giving real letter to Wall Street Journal. Game over. I don't think so, but sure. I don't believe the Wall Street Journal story for a second. That's so silly. Trump. So all they said was the name Donald. Donald's just a name. And they provided no evidence. The Wall Street Journal claimed Donald Trump without evidence. Wrote a letter to Jeffrey Epstein. Shane H. Wilder says, Sin Frontera is excellent. It's a must watch. It was eye-opening. Parts shocked me. Other parts pissed me off. And the section on child trafficking ripped my heart out. Everyone needs to see this. Yo, guys, feature-length documentary from 6'7" Kevin and Timcast Media, and more to come. Have you guys watched this? The premiere was 6 p.m. today. It was a free premiere. Now it is premium Rumble members only. Legit. It's an hour and 40-minute long documentary. And the amazing thing is how Kevin was basically saying that going along for these ride-alongs, these ICE raids, tracking this stuff, they show it all. The illegal immigration industrial complex is dying. That's what his big surprise was. It is dying. That's amazing. This is the end of illegal immigration. What Trump is doing with these visas, with these programs, it's legit. So I really do recommend this to you guys. You guys definitely got to check it out. Rumble.com/Timpool premium. Use promo code Tim, Tim10. Is that what it is? For Rumble, you get $10 off your yearly membership, and you can watch this plus all of our uncensored shows. We're gonna have an uncensored call-in show at 10 p.m. for you guys. To 6'7" Kevin, he has produced an epic feature-length documentary. I was insanely impressed. Kellen was insanely impressed. Everyone's like, this is so incredibly well made and good. And 6'7" Kevin, it was an honor to work with you, and we are going to produce more with him because this was masterfully done. And we're gonna start cranking these things out and getting more documentaries as we promised. Remember, earlier in the year, we would be working on these documentaries. Now, I was a little ambitious. I said I wanted 4 to 8 per year. Looks like we have 2. And we really are trying, but hey.
I had Kevin on Inverted World last week, and I think it was one of the best shows we've done on that.
Because he was talking about like the weird witches and stuff.
Death Cult, Santeria, it was really incredible. Everyone should go find that episode. We talked about Area 51 and the mole people beneath Las Vegas. Really good dude.
Now here's the next best thing. The next documentary we're putting out is on the AI takeover and the basically like the Terminator scenario. But it's a bit more stoic than that. But it's going to be about all of this Luddite stuff and technological evolution.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts.
Tim, I'm heading out before you get to the next.
All right, man.
I got to do my show, Inverted World Live tonight at 10. We'll see you guys there. Phone lines are open till midnight. Thanks for having me, guys. Always a pleasure.
Anyone can call in to Tales from the Inverted World.
Anyone, yep.
And tell their crazy stories.
We got great stories. The callers have been amazing. We love it. So yeah, the link to call in will be pinned on the chat and Rumble and YouTube. We'll see you guys there. See you guys.
See you later. And also, just quick shout out: the show's been hitting it with a couple 100,000 hits per episode now.
Sick.
Yeah, they've been nailing it. You know what it is? It's like open callers. Literally anybody watching can try and call in and tell their story, and everybody's hoping to get their chance. They want to tell their story. And
You remember when talk radio used to be like that?
Yep.
People would actually call in. It wasn't as heavily produced. You had like Art Bell stuff going on. He would ramble a little bit, but all talk radio was like that. Caller-dependent programming.
Yep.
And the hosts really had to know their stuff because they had to play off what the call was, but they had to know a little bit about everything. And now, it just doesn't happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's really siloed and scripted.
Copium Poppy says, "Is Tim still in Israel?" Says, "If it's still Philcast, Tim is still in Israel." Oh, he's back from Israel already.
God, people are ridiculous.
Oh, man. Get Off My Lawn says, CBS had asked Craig Ferguson to replace the retiring Letterman, but not only did Ferguson refuse, he left his own Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson out of respect for the outgoing Letterman. Wow. Deseret Monk says, whether it's treason or sedition or whether he can be convicted, the process is also the punishment. Make Obama go through the modern justice system and spend millions defending his actions. Guys, Michael Malice is right about everything. He's an anarchist. And the point he made is that the only thing that matters is what you are willing to enforce. And that's what he means by anarchy and how he describes it. So if the right is going to sit back and be like, well, we can't because that would be wrong, then it is and you lose. Bye.
Yep. You have, the right has to be willing to use power when they have it.
And we've got it now.
Yeah. And
Not by much in the House, but we've got it.
Well, now another guy retired, right?
Right.
In this context, they need to use the DOJ. Mm-hmm. Pam Bondi has to have the audacity, have the intestinal fortitude to actually, issue warrants.
But there are some, honestly, too, though, it's not just the federal government. There are some state AGs who have been doing a good job. Mm-hmm. There are others that need to step up.
Yep, absolutely.
Because, the state charges, that's how a lot of these things were filed against President Trump. Now, I'm not saying that we have people as corrupt as Letitia James, but we have legitimate grievances against, for instance, the Bidens and the way they use their shell companies. That money was crossing state lines.
Yep.
And in the jurisdictions where it occurred, there's something there.
If they can tell it, go ahead.
Finish your point.
If they can tell a guy that he can't sell wheat or that he can't grow wheat to give to his own animals that because of the state law, because of crosses state lines, then you can definitely have the AG of any of the states prosecute.
We do have one more quick promo to read for you guys. It's My Pillow. Shout out to Mike Lindell and My Pillow. And I almost forgot. I was drinking this delicious Rev 7 energy drink, and I was like, we got to shout out mypillow.com/Tim. Use promo code Tim. You get a big discount, my friends, and try their Rev 7 energy drink. It's actually good for you. It's got cognizin, produces 3 times more brain energy than sugar. There's no sugar. There's no caffeine. I am a huge fan of this drink. Yo, it legit works. My mind is blown. I wake up in the morning. I have my protein shake. I come in, sit down. I crack one of these bad boys. I didn't have one today. That's why I'm having one now. And it wires me. All these people are like, Tim must be on Adderall. No, it's Rev 7. It's not a drug. People actually claim I'm on Adderall. I'm not. So check out mypillow.com. They got 2 sales in one. The first is a sale on the bed sheets, any size, any color, just $29.88. You can even get the king to queens, split kings, cow kings. The second sale is on a new energy drink called Rev 7. You can save 30% off with a subscription and a free 3-pack. They got green apple, lemonade, and blueberry citrus. This one's my legit favorite. I absolutely love this stuff. So again, use promo code Tim at mypillow.com. Make sure you check out their Rev 7. Limited time. They say they're so confident you're going to love it. You can try their introductory 3-pack absolutely free when you set up a bi-weekly subscription. So go to mypillow.com using promo code Tim or call 1-800-925-9096. And shout out to Mike Lindell and MyPillow. I sleep on a MyPillow every single night. Excuse me, I'm burping. Drinking these Rev 7s over here. So good. I'm not kidding, guys. I really do absolutely love this drink. It's so good. And then we run out super quick because everybody loves them. But shout out to mypillow.com/Tim. Thanks for sponsoring the show. Let's get back to your rants. All right. Luna's Ra says, yikes, Hunter Biden really sounds unhinged. Anyway, follow me for relaxing game content. Take the pressure off.
There you go.
Everybody keeps telling me I should do video game streams. It's like, okay, so I wrap the morning show. Then I immediately start streaming video games for 2 hours. Then I eat. Then I skate. Then I do a show again. I will never be home.
They want more Tim Pool.
Yeah, man. Now I got these pitches coming in. People want me to do weekend shows. And they're like, Tim Pool, we will give you money. And it's like, ugh. Right? Yeah, because we're doing the Saturday shows. So if we start doing Saturday afternoon shows, and then we've got pitches coming in for a potential Sunday show, I'm like, I will work literally every single day.
That's going to help you with that $175 million.
Well, we'll finally break even.
Yeah.
You know, right now, $175 million. We're just, you know, and if people are wondering, how is it that Timcast brings in $175 million? Russia. And they're wondering,
Clearly,
where does it all go? Well, salaries are expensive. Serge's salary is $30 million a year. Yeah. Phil gets $35. You know,
it's expensive.
Wait,
we had to pay.
you guys are getting paid?
Guests come in on a private plane.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Phil calls it a plane, but it's more like an anti-gravity device that is experimental and costs, $1 billion.
Just trying to keep it so that way people could kind of understand the concept.
I can't believe how many people were like, "You make $175 million."
I can believe it. I can believe it. Absolutely, man.
Dude, what about the private maglev train out front?
That's not so.
Yeah, we actually we with the 100.
We haven't announced it yet.
The reason why we broke even last year is because we had to pay $100 million to Elon for our hyper tube.
Yeah.
Our vacuum car tube under the facility that brings us straight to London.
You didn't think that the Boring Company only was working out in California, did you?
Yeah. We have a tube that goes straight to London, just straight shot. They built the whole thing just for us. It wouldn't cost $100 million. That would cost like what would it cost? $10 trillion or some ridiculous amount.
Something like that.
Yeah. There's no boring a tunnel through the
Atlantic?
Yeah, not through the mid-Atlantic ridge, where the ocean is currently spreading due to plate tectonics. It's not exactly a geostable region to tunnel through.
All right, we got this from Raymond G. Stanley Jr. He says that was an excellent doc. Shout out to 6'7" Kevin. It breaks the heart getting into a first-hand visual of the child trafficking that happened under Biden. Guys, legit, share Sin Frontera. It is an hour and 40-minute long breakdown of the evils of illegal immigration, the cartels, child trafficking. It's insane. And you got these people who don't want to believe it and don't know. Show them. That's why we made it. And now some might be saying, why is it premium only? Because it cost a lot of money to do. 6'7" Kevin had to go to the Darien Gap. That is like one of the most dangerous places in the world.
It's true.
So it was very expensive. It was very dangerous.
Tim, you know what impressed me?
We'd like to make more of those.
From the limited footage that I saw, because I only was just looking at it when I was coming in here, but I was impressed with the fact that it's not just interview, face footage. It's really giving you an idea what the lay of the land is.
Yeah.
Some great drone footage that's really showing the scope of the actual state of what's happening down there. It's just not, it's not a documentary. You think documentary, and unfortunately a lot of them are just like static shots, talking back and forth, interviewer, camera. This really had some great visuals in it.
Also, Carter did the scoring for the documentary, which is available. The original documentary songs are all here. I'm gonna play this one. What does this do? Is it gonna be too loud? Oh, I like this one. I like that one. It's called Salt and Wire. This is not AI. Carter made this music for the documentary, so we're really excited for this release. You know what we need to do though? We needed to do a premiere, and we're new at doing these documentaries. This is our third documentary we've ever put out. We need to do a premiere, and we need to send screeners to the press, which we should have done, and we did not. But it's out now, and so share it with everybody and check it out. It's really something. It's really something. All right, let's see what we got here. We got some super chats. Luis Rodriguez says Colbert's cancellation was the best cancellation since A Little Late with Lily Singh. What is that? What does that mean?
I don't know the show.
Oh.
I have no idea.
That show sucks.
I was like, is he making a very offensive joke or something that I don't get? All right. Andrew Lepensi says, remember how Israel just tried to start a nuclear war? Which incident are you referring to? Which time? There's a ongoing conflict for 70 years. I'm wondering which specific incident you're referring to. All right, what do we got here? Scott Dietrich says, what about Biden signing off on Chinese nationals as staff in the government cloud? Plus, I believe they lived in China on top of that. That could be treason. Samurai says treason as a dictionary definition, not just U.S. law. Indeed. But when people are like, they should be charged with treason or they committed treason, they're referring specifically to U.S. law. And that's why I say that as sedition. You can call him a traitor. You know, I get what you're saying. All right. Devin H. says, did you see Tom Holland? Tom Holman. I think he meant Tom Homan. Selling EMP protection. What is going on?
Yeah, we did.
For years, he has, in fact, been partnering with this EMP,
There was a book
Well,
that I read.
for those who are confused, that's not a current ad that you were showing. He's not
Right.
leveraging his current position. That is something he did in the interim between the administrations.
Proto Gen XL says, Jordan Peterson versus 20 Kermit the Frogs was a key cultural discussion. It was funny. I don't understand how people watch the Jubilee stuff, but they do.
Is that the one with the flags?
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm just an old, out of touch man. But my issue with it is that you don't actually ever hear an argument. So, like, for instance, the Mehdi Hassan one, this young woman comes up and she's like, do you think that Americans, like, immigrants deserve more than Americans? And he goes, immigrants are American. I'm an immigrant. I'm an American. And she's like, I mean people born here. And he's like, no, but immigrants are American. And I'm like, Mehdi, stop. She's not a professional debater. Ask her what she means. She meant, do you think that people who move here are more deserving than people who are born here? It's a simple question, setting the grounds of what your ideas are. But Mehdi argues semantics the whole time. One guy sits down, and then he was like, I'm actually an immigrant. I'm from Iran. And he goes, how do you feel about everyone hating you? And he goes, I'm not here to debate them. I'm here to debate. And he goes, answer the question. And it's like, okay, here you go. Right? He's not actually debating any of these people. It's all tribal BS nonsense. So the problem is nobody actually gets any debates through, and then everyone else just is raising the flag, being like, get out of here. I want to debate.
Mehdi was he was calling kids fascists, or calling the people there fascists and stuff. So it was the same, virtue signaling, grandstanding stuff that he always does.
And all the comments were from progressives ragging on fascists.
Of course.
So that's the play, right?
But it's worth noting, like, the young people there, they're not worried about being called fascists. Some people actually consider themselves fascists, and that is a direct result of the left for the past 10 years.
All right. Dylan Brown says Olympics sucks now too. They want to get rid of boxing. Working in sports broadcasting field, these stations are just looking for content. I am working Rockies baseball right now. I'm telling you this right now. You were just talking about this with baseball, how it's like the fifth inning T-shirt thing and then like the mascot races or whatever. They're turning into circuses. No one's attention can be kept anymore. It's actually kind of terrifying. And again, it plays into what I was talking about with the 4th of July when I went to my hometown and nobody was outside. They're all inside on their computers. I was at a boutique store with my wife. She was looking for some summer clothes. And I saw like 3 teenage guys sitting down and they were just swiping on their phones, just like this, up, up, up. And I was like, oh my God, they're zombies. Plugged in 24/7. They can't go to a ball game. And the reason why they got to do mascot races is because they're like, stop looking at your phone and look over here. And they're like, I can't.
But it's also in baseball, people have just lost an appreciation for the subtle things about like, where is this player shading? I mean, I'm not talking about the whole infield shifting, but there's so many nuances to the game of baseball if you know where to look for them, and people have lost that knowledge. And if you go back and you look at the pictures of the crowds watching baseball, I think some of the best baseball fans I've ever seen were in St. Louis. That town loves baseball, and they knew what was going on, and they were not there to just be distracted. They were there because they loved the game. And now it's kind of just like, I don't even know what it is. It's like, do it for the gram. We went to the game and we sat in the free food seats, or like the $50 all you can eat seats, or whatever. It's just, it's not the baseball I grew up with. It's barely recognizable to me.
Yeah. All right, let's go. We got S.A. Federale says, talking about EMP and solar flares, I bought a bunch of Bacon Fang radios a couple years back. Several weeks later, I woke up to news of a flare. The screens were all scrambled gibberish characters.
They're Baofeng radios is what he meant.
Oh, okay. It says Bacon Fang.
Yeah, that's probably the YouTube chat.
Oh, and then he says, my last chat was for Baofeng, but I'm going to call them Bacon Fang from now on. You know what I can't stand about autocorrect? My wife texted me that she was going to be at Pirates. She's like, I'll be at Pirates till 2.
Pilates.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And one thing it does is it auto-corrected redacted to reacted.
Yeah.
It does this all the time in really weird ways. It turned defames into defamed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why is it? And then it never corrects when I hit the Y instead of the T on what or that. So it says way or they. It won't correct those. But it corrects literally everything into random words.
The autocorrect when you're actually putting in a super chat, the YouTube one is atrocious. It's very, very bad. You have to be very careful.
That's why people are posting juice boxes.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know if you really do like the show and think it's good. We're not a big network. We don't have the massive marketing budgets that Colbert has. Ha! And we don't have $100 million. We certainly don't do 175. We exist only because we are lucky enough that people like you who watch spread the show via word of mouth. And so I want to thank you all for telling your friends. That's really the only reason the show exists, because it's all organic growth. Like you guys are amazing. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. An uncensored show is coming up at rumble.com/Timcast IRL in a couple of minutes. Bricksuit, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, I'm Bricksuit. You can follow me on X at Brick_suit. And I'm going to continue to support the president and do some volunteering and just see America. This is our golden age. So I'd like to see you there. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. You can follow me there. The band is All That Remains. You can check us out on YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
Thank you all so much for hanging out. Let's go to rumble.com/Timcast IRL for the uncensored portion of the show where you as members of the Timcast Discord can call in. We'll see you all in about 30 seconds.